Hi, welcome to this screencast in which I'll be introducing the CPD module, Teaching Functional Skills Mathematics, which has been produced by WUMSET on behalf of the Education and Training Foundation. In the screencast, I'll be saying more about the course content and how the course is structured. I'll be focusing particularly on the distance learning element of the course and how to navigate the course website and access the distance learning tasks, which are an important part of the course. I'll also be saying a little bit about the optional accreditation that's available for the course. Here's the learning outcomes for the course. So by the end of the course, it's expected that learners will know more about how to motivate and engage learners and address their negative feelings about maths. They'll also be able to plan and teaching and learning in accordance with the new subject content for functional skills, which is coming in from this September. There'll also be an emphasis on the different parts of the functional skills curriculum and how to develop active and engaging approaches to using number and a number system, measure shape and space, and handling data. We'll be looking at contextualizing and applying maths to vocational learning and everyday situations. We'll be focusing on how to develop learners' problem solving and decision making skills, which are core to functional skills. We'll also be using assessment for learning approaches to support functional skills. And of course, we won't be forgetting the importance of preparing learners for the requirements of the summative assessment, the exams that learners will be taking at the end of their functional skills programs. The blended learning option, which you're undertaking, comprises of three elements. First of all, face-to-face training days, 3 in total that you'll be expected to attend. You'll also be expected to attend 3 online webinars, each 90 minutes long as part of the course, and to undertake a certain amount of independent online study through the website of approximately 9 to 10 hours. So in order to complete the course, you will need to have regular access to a computer with a good internet connection. The course itself, the blended version, has been divided into 6 units. Unit 1 is called Starting Points, and this is starting points in terms of your own learning on the course, but also we'll be looking at the starting points in terms of functional skills maths learners. So issues of diagnostic assessment, assessing their needs, and how to address negative attitudes towards maths. In Unit 2, we'll be looking at the core skills of number skills, how to calculate, developing understanding of the concepts of fractions, decimals, percentages, ratio and proportion. Unit 3 focuses on language issues in functional maths and how those relate particularly to the needs of ESOL learners. And we'll also be looking at the needs of those with special educational needs and disabilities and how those can affect maths learning. Unit 4 will be focusing on common measures and data handling, the 2 other main strands of the functional skills subject content. Unit 5 looks at problem solving, and Unit 6, putting it all together, is where we will look at the demands of the final exam for functional skills. And also that's where you'll have a chance to do your course presentations of resources that have been produced. And I'll say more about that in a bit. Core to this is going to be your use of the course website, Moodle. You can see an image of the front screen on the right there. So available through this website there will be general course information, but particularly course tasks, a blog, a discussion forum. There'll be access to the course materials from the taught days. There'll also be access to links to a wider range of maths teaching resources available online, and also a reading room, particularly to meet the needs of those of you who decide to go for the accreditation. I'm just going to take you around that website now and introduce you to some of the core bits that you need to know about. So when you log on to the course website, this is what you'll see. So you can click on any of these buttons here and it'll take you through to the relevant section. So there's a section on general course information, the course overview, the content of the course, the accreditation. I'm going to look at those just at the moment. Under course tasks, this is the main bit that you'll be using. And here we have the 6 units of the course, and for each one you can navigate by the menu on the right hand side of the screen or using these buttons to go backwards and forwards. So here's unit 1 and the course tasks that you'll be expected to complete. So the first task there is what you're doing at the moment, actually the course introduction. So normally for these screencasts you'll click on a link here on the screen. What we also ask you to do before the first webinar of the course is to go to the course forum and introduce yourself to others on the course. So say a bit about your name, where you work, what you want to get out of the course and so on. And the third task, we want you to self-assess against 2 things. First of all, the ETF's professional standards, and secondly, your own personal math skills. Now, to access the professional standards, you'll need to, first of all, go to the Foundation Learning online website, which I'm just connecting to. Okay, so if you've already got an account, you can log in through this page. If you haven't got an account, then you will need to create one at this point. Following that, we'd like you to explore the professional standards for FE teacher trainers, FE teachers, I should say, and you can download them from this page. And finally, we want you to visit the self-assessment tool, which will be coming up in a minute. Okay, and you can access it from this page. When you've finished it, do save it, a copy of it, and print it. We'll also ask you to look at the Maths Pathway on the same website, Foundation Learning Online, and we'd like you to complete a self-assessment of your functional skills. So you can do this by clicking on Functional Skills Self-Evaluation here. Okay. Again, save that when you've finished it. Following that, there will be an interactive webinar when you can ask a lot more questions, and we'll be looking at the course in a bit more detail. And then after that webinar, there are some further tasks we want you to complete. One on maths histories of learners, growth mindsets, overcoming negative views of maths, and at the end of each module we'll ask you to record your reflections on your learning during that module. So that will normally be through your course blog, which you can access by clicking on the link there. So remember, only you will be able to see your course blog. At any time, if you want to go back to the front page of the website, just click on Teaching Functional Skills Maths. And you can see direct links there to the blog and the discussion forum, also to the course materials, teaching resources and the reading room, which we'd like you to explore really as soon as possible, maybe before the first webinar. I'm going to go back to the presentation now and talk through a few things. So those online tasks are really at the heart of the course, along with the talk days and webinars. And you will see that often those tasks will be things like screencast that you're going through at the moment. They may also involve reading short articles, watching videos, completing quizzes and self-assessments, and as I say, at the end of each unit, completing a reflection on your learning. And those, as I've mentioned, will normally be recorded either through your personal blog, which, as I say, is only accessible to you and your tutor, and by discussing your thoughts with your peers through the forum, which is more widely accessible to everybody on your particular course. I mentioned before, in the final session of the course, the final training day, you will work in groups of 3 or 4, and we'll ask you to prepare beforehand and present an activity that you've collaboratively developed to the rest of the group. And that should exemplify some of the approaches which we've covered in the course. So creating a task that is functional, covers more than one areas of maths, and involves some sort of problem solving. At the end of the course, all participants will get a certificate of successful completion, provided that they attend at least 2 of the 3 training days and at least 2 of the 3 online webinars and complete all the online tasks. Obviously, we would like you to complete all of the course, all 3 days and all 3 webinars. You'll also need to do that collaborative planning and presentation of the activity on the final day. Finally, a bit of information about the optional accreditation for the course. So the course is accredited through Ascentis, and it provides 15 credits at level 5. And you can see on the right hand side of the screen there the learning outcomes from the course and assessment criteria. So in order to achieve the accreditation, you will need to complete 3 pieces of work in addition to completing the course. So first of all, you will need to do case studies of 2 learners about how you've assessed their needs and met their needs. Secondly, you will need to do an analysis of different teaching approaches with regard to functional skills and the advantages and disadvantages of them, which ones you've used in your practice and so on. And finally, a reflective diary for the duration of the course. And in the case of this blended version of the course, that is in fact your blog. So all those accreditation, all those pieces of work will combine some background reading, which will be expected of you, but linking that, if you like, theory and research into practice. So not theory for theory's sake. And just to finish off, if you do have any questions after watching this screencast, do please email your course tutor and they will get back to you. There will, of course, also be an opportunity to raise questions at the first course webinar, which we hope you'll be attending in the next week or so. That's it for now. I hope you have found this introductory screencast useful, but do get in touch if you do have any other questions.